Hello everyone! This is Katie Colleen here. Welcome back, Colleen Clan, or if you are new, then come join the family. Today is another quarantine cosplay build. I've not done one of these in a while. So I will be making this Whitney cosplay from Pokemon, and I will be doing it Colleen Cosplay quarantine cosplay build style. Since March, I guess. I've been doing something on my channel called Quarantine Cosplay Builds, and it's where I make a cosplay entirely out of stuff that's already in my home, with the idea that I could make cosplay without going out and, you know, having to go shopping, having to buy more stuff, and I could just make it with all the scraps I have on hand. Now, like I mentioned, I have been doing quarantine cosplay builds since like March. So at this point, I've kind of run out of a few things. So I'm allowing myself like a little bit of cheating for this build. So I bought some base shoes because I'm running out of old shoes to sacrifice to my cosplays. So I got an Art Chibi wig to work with. I don't really have any wigs that really work for this character. I got a Pokeball, right? You're probably wondering why I'm making this cosplay. Well, let me tell you. This cosplay is for a Pass the Pokeball collab. So if you don't know what that is, it's kind of based off of this Pass the Brush thing that's been going around on TikTok and a lot of the internet, where basically a cosplayer will, you know, show themselves out of cosplay, and then they'll do like a fun little transition, and then they would be in cosplay. So I did one of these for a disabled cosplayers Pass the Brush challenge, and we did it with spoons. So that was super cute. I totally was super excited to get in on this collab. The collab is humongous. So I decided to be gym leader Whitney. Okay, so where are we gonna start? So I'm gonna start with everything that needs a long time to like dry. So let's start with the air dry clay. So I have the hair clips done-ish. Ta-da! I will say it was kind of hard to get them the same size. So I'm just using Crayola air dry clay. So the next I'm gonna do the buttons. So I have these 3 buttons that I got as an option for my wedding dress buttons. And here they are. I didn't use them. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna add clay to make these look a little bigger. The buttons and the reference are like huge. Like these are huge yellow buttons. I'm gonna see if I can like something like that, I guess, like that size button. And then once I have the buttons good, these can dry for 2 days. So next I'm going to the shoes. I'm gonna have to do a few different layers of paint, so I wanna get started on these early. So I have taped off the edges of the Converse, and I'm going to be painting this like block here. This is the color I'm going for. So this is leftover fabric from my 1,000 follower Instagram giveaway thing, because this is like literally the most perfect color in my opinion for all her shirt accents. So I'm gonna try and get the paint for the shoes to be as close to this color as possible. This is the color I came up with to paint the shoes, and I'm not super impressed with this color matching. It's okay, it's okay. Hello everyone, it is a day later and I'm still painting shoes. So I have the center tongue piece painted black now, and all that's left is to go in and just touch up these white areas and fix up a few of my whoopsies. So I was waiting for the shoes to be done before I got into sewing, and this is how the finished shoe looks. And I have some black ribbon. I got this for my Queen Bee cosplay. So I'm just gonna use this for the laces, so the laces match. Thank you for watching so much of this video just to see me make shoes. But I think they're adorable. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into cutting out the fabric and working out the pattern for this. For this Pass the Pokeball collab, so I had a huge amount of characters to pick from, right? And I was really agonizing over what character to pick. And the reason I ended up with Whitney was because of this. I just finished my fandom flag giveaway and I have quite a bit of extra fabric left. So I did have to buy a few things, but honestly this is gonna be like a very cheap costume for me, and that's kind of why I picked Whitney. I'm sorry if you wanted something more deep than that, but we're here and here's my spare fabric. I'll be using this Simplicity pattern, Simplicity 1538. So I'm just gonna be using kind of this basic pattern, like pattern B, very basic pattern, and we're gonna be altering that. Okay, so this is the back piece. So I'm going to cut this out longer because it looks on Whitney like it's pretty long and a little bit like flared at the bottom, kind of baggy. So I'm gonna cut this out longer and I'm gonna cut it out a little bit more flared. I'm gonna bring it out a little bit. It is pretty fitted around the bust area, so I don't think I need to do much there. So I'm gonna get that cut out. Okay, so now let's get into some sewing. So I'm going to be making this shirt completely lined. I am kind of crazy about lining all of my projects. It just makes them so nice. So I'm actually going to make the lining first. So the lining will not have any of those little pink details around the neckline. You know, you're not gonna see any of that because it's on the inside. So making the lining first is a really good way to check if something's gonna fit and if your pattern's working without ruining the actual part of the shirt that people are gonna see. So I'm gonna quickly sew together the inside lining and we're gonna see if the few alterations that I made to this pattern are working and if the fit is good. Okay, time for the first try on. This is the lining. That's pretty good. So we're gonna need space for it to overlap for the buttons. I think it's maybe a little long, so I think that's gonna be okay. I'll probably shorten the sleeves a little. So it looks like I can get started on the outside layer. So I was not planning on filming today. It's a weekday. I was just kind of getting everything ready to film this weekend, but something happened that I really wanted to share, something very special about this cosplay making process. It appears I threw part of my cosplay away. I threw it in the trash, took it out to the dumpster because today's trash day, and it is now on its way to the dump if it's not already there. And so I'm working on the outer layer of Whitney's top. I apparently threw away one of the sleeves for the top. I don't take my fabric trash out very often because it takes a while to get full. But today I was just like, know what? I'm done with having a full trash can in the craft room. And today I'm gonna take out the trash and I'm gonna clean out my craft room. So I did, and I threw away part of my cosplay. So I'm gonna cut another sleeve out. I'm at this point a little concerned that the sleeve will be a different size because like they weren't cut out in the same cut. I'm still looking for it. I'm still like, where is this sleeve? I can't have thrown it away. I'm still looking for it and it's nowhere to be found. I threw it away. So I did put a little bit of work into this cosplay over the week. I generally don't work a whole lot on cosplay during weekdays because I work full time, but I did want to get some of the more time sensitive stuff done so that we could pretty much finish up this entire cosplay this weekend is the plan. So the biggest goal for last week was getting everything painted, all of the clay stuff that I made. So I finished the hair clips and those also got glued down. They have these little alligator clips on them. And I have all the shirt buttons painted. So here are the 3 shirt buttons that I did the clay for. So those have all their different layers of paint on them. So they are ready for us to finish up the shirt today. Anyways, let's get into how I'm doing the decorative trim on the shirt. So this is actually the sleeve, and I don't want to sew the sleeve together yet because I'm going to be adding trim along the bottom here, and that's going to be much harder to add if it's sewn together until the actual sleeve. So I'm going to be adding the trim without the side seam sewn. So it's actually just strips of fabric. I was originally planning on like cutting out like the shape or maybe doing something a little bit more fancy, but I don't have a whole lot of fabric to work with, and this will definitely get the job done. So I'm gonna get this done and we can see how the sleeves turned out. So with the sleeves done, Next is to do the neckline and then around down the front of the shirt. But this is the back, these are the sleeves, and then these are the front pieces. This is kind of what I was getting at when I was saying like put the trim on before you sew the shirt together. Okay, so this is the outer layer of the top completely sewn up. So it still has some rough edges. I still need to sew it to the lining, but this is how it looks right now. If you've like been following me for a while, you know that I love lining like every single one of my projects. And that's just because like all these seams, you know, like I want to hide that. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to finally finish this up. I'm really close to being done with the top. And then I'm going to get into the wig. The shirt is done. Woohoo! This might be weird, but I'm actually really proud of the buttons. I've never made clay buttons before. It was kind of a weird idea to go off of, but I do love the buttons. And these seemed really huge and chunky, but if you look at the reference pictures, they're like huge, like to a point where it's like no longer reasonable to use them as buttons. And I did like kind of get a little bit of the flare at the bottom that I was going for. Nice and cinched at the waist. So the shirt's done, the shoes are done. I'm just gonna wear a pair of denim shorts. So what we have left is the wig, which is like the next biggest thing I need to work on. And then during the week I can make the bracelet and I can alter some socks. So I just wanted to check in. I have one pigtail fully styled now. This was like, what, 2 hours just to style this one pigtail. But I believe I have a method that works. And I believe I have a method that I can also record for a YouTube tutorial, which is also good news. Hello, it is Monday night. So I'm getting the bracelet patterned out. I just cannot handle teasing this wig anymore. Like, I need a break from this wig monstrosity. So I've cut out the pattern pieces. It's going to be lined. Thankfully I had just enough to make it lined. And I just want to say, this is all I have left of this fabric. I have so little fabric left. I cut it so close. From the reference pictures, this looks like really thick. So I want to have some stiffener between these two layers and between these two layers. And then this should come together really quickly. I'm not super proud of how it turned out. So I do have a tutorial on how I make my wrist cuffs if you want to see like a detailed description of how like I would make this, and that tutorial has a much better looking wrist cuff. So it looks really good from this angle, but it doesn't look so good from the back. I was just a little bit short on fabric, and like I showed you, like I don't really have many options on fabric, so the closure is like bursting at the seams. But it's done, I guess. The bracelet is done. Hello everyone, it is Wednesday night after work, and I'm going to look at the socks for this. I still have not touched the wig since this weekend. So at the start of the video, I mentioned that on this quarantine cosplay build, I was allowing myself some cheating. And that is because it's been a very long and hard year. And when you have long and hard years, you don't necessarily feel like taking time to sew stripes on socks. So I ordered these blue and black striped socks from Malka Chic on Etsy. Oh, and these are actually tights, not socks. But the idea is that I can just cut these into socks. That doesn't look too bad. That honestly doesn't look too far from the Canon reference. So I'll just have to cut it, and then I'll probably put some like little elastic band on it to hold it on to my leg. And then the socks will be done, and all that's left is the wig. Hello, it is Saturday. So I've made quite a bit of progress today. I have the second ponytail. I'm getting pretty close to finished, but everything else is done. And you know what? I still feel pretty confident that I can get everything done by before the weekend is over. I have some bad news. So you'll see the wig is pretty much styled, right? So as I was finishing up with the bangs on the tutorial, the hair clips fell apart. So I used an industrial glue, which I usually use for all that sort of stuff because it holds way better than hot glue. So I feel like my glue choice was good. The problem was it glued the hair clips down to the paint really well, and I was not expecting the paint to just come off from the clay. So I'm re-gluing it, and the thing with the industrial glue is it takes 24 hours to dry. It's not like hot glue where I can just, you know, put it on or whatever. But the cosplay is still pretty much done, so I'd say that's a success. I just was originally planning on actually getting into full cosplay today, and that is not the case. I will not be getting into cosplay today because the hair clips are gluing right now. So I'll see you guys pretty soon here with my completed Whitney cosplay from Pokemon. So that is it for my Whitney cosplay build vlog. I already took off the wig, and then I remembered I needed to finish out this vlog. But there is a tutorial that I've uploaded on how I made my wig for this character, if you want to check that out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!